All right. Brand new details emerging on President-elect Donald Trump's deportation force, potentially getting local police officers to help deport millions of illegal immigrants. But how would a plan like this work? Here to weigh in is attorney Katie Fang. Katie, thanks for joining us this morning. So I want to be clear about how we got to the potential for this argument. I want to put a full screen up. Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach was meeting with Donald Trump at Trump Tower, and there was a photo that emerged of some documentations he was carrying in, and one suggestion, I don't know if we have that photo and could put it up, but one suggestion was potentially on that list a deportation or deputization of local law enforcement to enforce illegal immigration laws. So there it is. There's the shot right there. Katie, what do you make of this proposal, and how would it work?
Well, Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach is rumored to be leading the charge to become the head of DHS, as well as Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark, who's meeting with Trump on Monday. Section 287G of the Immigration and Naturalization Act of the United States. It was enacted by Congress in 1996. It's been around for a while, guys, and it basically deputizes local and state law enforcement officers to be able to act as immigration, customs, and enforcement agents. So basically something that normally would be done by federal immigration officers would be done by your local cops. And back in December of 2012, Obama effectively neutralized the street-level component of that section, basically saying you can't do that anymore. We can only do it when you're in custody and in jail. And of course, as you guys know, that's generated the drama involving the sanctuary cities issue as well.
Absolutely, Katie. And I've talked to border agents on the ground and other law enforcement who feel like their hands are completely tied. What would this look like, though? Is this something that would be proactive from those trained by ICE? Are they proactively looking for immigration status, or is it more passive? If there's criminal activity, they're allowed to check for it and then hand them over to the feds?
That's a great question, Pete. It's more proactive. You get trained by ICE, you get 4 weeks of basic training, and every 2 years you get 1 week of refresher courses. And then basically you are just like immigration. You can go, you can proactively stop people on the street, check their immigration status, and if you find that they're here illegally, you can take them into custody. That's that street-level task force. But guys, ICE doesn't pick up the cost for that. So that's going to be really expensive for local and state law enforcement. So Donald Trump, if he wants to basically deport to 2 to 3 million illegal immigrants with criminal records who are here in the United States, he's going to have to direct funding and budget resources to this effort.
And he's got some mayors, and so we've got a map of the sanctuary cities across America that have declared, hey, we're not going to, not only are we not going to work with federal illegal immigration laws or recognize them in our cities, but you might find it hard to imagine that they would be willing to deputize their local police forces as a result. I mean, how, setting those sanctuary cities aside, what's your sense of how local law enforcement would react to these kinds of power? Do they want the authority and the ability to do it, or do they feel like, hey, we're already overstretched?
Well, they're already including states like California, Florida, Texas, states that we know actually have a wider influx in terms of illegal immigration. But, you know, it's because it's not going to cost the government anything in terms of the federal government. It might be hard for state and local law enforcement agencies to want to apply for this program, and that might have a chilling effect on their abilities to be able to do this, even if they want to.
Katie, could you conceive of some federal funding to support the deputization, briefly?
Absolutely. Trump is making this a priority. You bet your bottom dollar he's going to direct money towards this resource.
Interesting. Interesting that a new proposal is just a reinvigoration of something that has been around for quite some time. Katie Fang, attorney, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it.